Anyways, let's actually start. Alright, so it is the day after yesterday. Your adventures in the asylum of St. Vera. Your entire party, except for Garvel, is injured. Garvel's doing alright. He just kind of fucked off and went to the bar. Danny told you that you would need to be
the
liaison for the tech priests and Mercutio and all that good shizzle. The grim darkness. There is only shizzle. So you go to bed early, feel a little bit better when you wake up around 6 in the morning. It is not yet time for you to go do anything, or go and see Mercutio. Is there anything that you would like to do in the morning?
6 in the morning. I'm gonna go talk to Niles.
You gonna talk to Nelly?
Yeah. But
so you're gonna go down to the medical wing to talk to him?
I'm gonna wake him up at 6 in the morning from his critical wound-induced sleep.
Yep. Hey, you in a coma?
Did he give me any information? Because he just told me, as far as I can recall, he just told me that I need to meet with them because he wants me to be the liaison.
Mm-hmm.
Are they coming on-world, or am I going off-world into low orbit to speak to them? Because you said
you don't know yet.
I don't know yet. Okay, so I've given no information.
Basically, it's just Mercutio will contact you when it's time for you to meet. You're going to be the liaison, and that's it.
Oh, that's but he didn't have any information. That's right.
No.
Good. That's right. He did tell me that. Do I still have access to all of the notes we pulled out of... Because there was the computer, which you told me I did eventually gain access to, and I was able to pull the data files. I have those on me? / on my data...
You have the files that were on the computer in your brain.
Oh, okay. So I
can recall them.
Okay. So I total recalled them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Schwarzenegger reference.
Yeah. That's what I think every time I think of that skill.
Yep.
I'm like, why did it have to be called that? I do hail from Mars.
Good.
But the notes and the papers and all that they found in the secret vault in the wall in...
Yeah, those are still on Neelis' person.
They're still on Neelis' person?
Yep.
He didn't, put them in a thing in his... Alright, so I'm gonna go raid his inventory.
Person?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm gonna go down to the medical wing. I'm going to up his dosage from his IV so that he...
Make a tech use to...
Yeah. 96.
You don't even have Medicaid, so it's halved.
All I need is a 23 to not kill him.
Yeah.
So...
No, you need to get a 50 to not kill him. You need a 23 to do something.
That's true. So
you have a 50% chance of not murdering him in his sleep.
What you're saying is, if I get a 53 or higher, I won't have to deal with him anymore.
Yes, basically. So you're gonna go down and rummage through his shit?
I'm gonna rummage through his shit because I want to look through those notes because I didn't really get any kind of information from that.
Neither did he.
No one bothered to look through those. I was busy fucking scribing stuff because I wanted to get onto the computer.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go look through those and see if there's anything of importance.
Alright. You head down to the medical wing, past some of the doctors. They're currently working on healing up Leaf and Frawl, for they seem quite wounded and fatigued, more than the rest, really. You make your way over to Nihilus's bed, and he's still sleeping. Do you want to just rummage through him, or do you want to wake him up and...
Fuck that, I'm just gonna rummage. What's he gonna do?
Okay. You
What's
rummage...
his is mine.
You rummage through his pockets, and he's feeling confident this morning. Eventually you find the...
I stub his confidence.
Ow. Eventually you find a couple pieces of paper that were the documents he pulled out of the safe in the ecclesiarchy.
Were?
They were.
Okay, I'm just making sure. He's been through a lot in the last couple days. I just want to make sure you weren't like, there are bullet holes.
There could be. Do you want there to be?
I really don't. I feel like they're kind of important.
Anyways, you remove the documents that you guys liberated from the Ecclesiarchy Palace and take them back up to your room to scour over.
How many documents or sheets are they thick, like bindings of
No,
like, are they
they're
folders, or is it like single sheets of paper like memos?
It's a couple of documents, so maybe 20 sheets of paper.
20 sheets of paper.
Ish.
And that was all they found because Tybalt wasn't there when they looked in the safe. So from Zach to GM, what all it was documents, and that was like the only important stuff they pulled out, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing else in there. It was just some
Not
papers.
that I remember them pulling out. Not that was relevant to the plot.
No, that was, yeah, it was just like, oh, there's like 5 gelt in there or something. So. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna read over those papers.
Okay.
So, what mostly do they contain?
They contain numbers and reports on the guests staying at the asylum of St. Vero.
Numbers is in like patient number, or numbers is in like
Numbers
costs,
is in the amount of and that kind of stuff.
okay.
Like
So like statistics.
Statistical numbers. You make an intelligence test.
Would logic go into that at all?
You have it, yeah.
I believe I have logic plus 10, but you should probably check that before I... Yay for watching you do stuff and knowing how to do it myself. Logic plus 10? Nope, I just have logic.
Yep.
So it doesn't give me any kind of bonus. And I have evaluate, but I don't have evaluate plus 10, so no bonus. So just a plain intelligence test.
Yep.
Damn it. Well, that's depressing. So, nothing of value really?
How many hours do you want to be spending on this?
I've got until Mercutio calls me. It's like 6:30 in the morning, so
Yeah.
it's 20 sheets of paper, and Tybalt's, let's just say 2 hours.
Okay. Then I will let you pass that.
Okay.
After a few hours, you recognize that these numbers don't correlate to what you recall seeing as the numbers on the computer for similar
for faults.
statistics. Yes, faults
Because
is...
his was the computer we got this information from, right? And there were only like...
No, it was the same. It was Bernadette's computer.
Oh, it was Bernard's computer?
Yeah, it was both in Bernadette's office.
Oh, no, I meant like week 2 or 3.
Oh,
we
the
went
faults
through
one? You don't have
faults
total recall for that.
I don't have total recall, but when we went through that, it was like 50 patients, right? It was a pretty small number.
Yeah, the
So I don't have to have total recall to know. Like if
okay,
it's
so you remembered that.
so if it's like
okay.
58, that's a different story. But if it's like 700 people on this, then I can remember. Hey, they're kind of falsifying something.
Yeah, so when you look over, or when you think back to what was on the computer, there were maybe 60 or 70 patients in the intensive care. But reading over the notes that you have on these hand-scribed pieces of parchment, you see that the amount of food that they're consuming, or that is partitioned to the intensive care, is enough food to feed a small army. Like, they're either storing stuff or they have thousands of people.
They're either continually storing stuff, like they're stockpiling for the next 6 months, or they're going through it all.
Yeah. And through the other documentation that you see, that they've been spending approximately the same amount of money for the past few months. Now, if that's going... It doesn't have a particular breakdown, so you're not exactly sure if it's going towards the repair cost of the facility or if it was actually all going to the food or anything like that.
Yeah, it's just showing the costs for running the intensive care unit.
But yes, the cost for running the ICU and the cost of St. Vero at large haven't spiked or dipped very much in the last month or two.
But they did spike a couple months ago and have remained at an elevated level.
I can't remember if you actually saw that on your report from when you...
When I saw how much it cost to...
It spiked up when they were building or reconstructing the hexagrammic wards, and since then it hasn't gone down.
Okay.
Anyways, you spend a while looking over
But it's pretty stable
those.
at that insanely high level?
Yes.
Okay.
Like they're still constructing.
Okay.
So yes, you spend a little while looking over that. It's now about 8:30 or so. Is there anything else that you want to do? Mercutio hasn't called you yet.
So I have numbers and stuff, so I know that they have... I don't know that they have more patients in the ICU than previously claimed, but the amount of food they're getting hints at it, and the crazy costs hints that they're not reporting all of what they're spending down there and the other things. What was on the files that I took from the computer?
The computer was basically...
Because I imagine there'd be more information, but it wouldn't be quite as damning as these 20 pages.
The computer contained the official reports for the cost of running the Ecclesiarchy Palace, the cost of running St. Vero, and basically patient logs, and transport logs for servants and cargo and all that kind of stuff.
Can I cross-reference these to see if they match up? Because you said they're the official reports, right?
Well, that's what you did.
Oh, that's what I did? Okay.
Is you cross-matched it, and those were the discrepancies you found that
Okay.
we just talked about.
What was the official cost for, like, food and stuff that I found on the computer?
The official cost, let's see, how much would that be?
You don't
like
necessarily need to give me
5,000 or 6,000 a day.
5,000 or 6,000 a day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, you don't need to give me exact numbers. I just need like a factor of how far they were off, because I figured it's gonna
Well,
be
the
like
official
like,
reports made the claim that it was about 5,000 a night for food. The handwritten documents don't have that information.
They don't
written.
have for food. They just have the monthly.
They
costs.
just have overall costs. And there's some strange text that you can't read written around as if scrawled in kind of hastily that you can't quite decipher. It's not...
Is it written in a common tongue that I could get deciphered by someone else?
Not that you know there. It looks kind of arcane.
Arcane?
It's not in any dialect or any font you've ever seen before.
Okay, so it's not necessarily like High Gothic, and it's not necessarily like just archaic. It's completely foreign.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be something like either warp inspired or Xeno inspired.
Well, for all you know, it could just be like seeing Japanese and having never met them. They're just symbols you do not recognize.
So it's possibly just archaic.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're
Very
not High
archaic,
Gothic or
40,000
Low
years in the
Gothic.
future,
Yeah.
but so it's something I've never... Alright, can I note any kind of pattern in the scribblings, like anything that would help me discern it if I saw it elsewhere? Like, not necessarily the same characters, but, like, if I saw it, I would recognize, you know, like Japanese and Chinese looking very similar to each other, but, like, being able to discern between
Sharper
those two in
lines
Korean,
okay.
because Korean uses a lot more loops,
Yeah.
or, is it Taiwanese that uses...
You note some general characteristics about the unknown font type, in case you ever come across it again.
Alright. I'm going to use my trade. Is it copyist?
Copyist?
There we go. I'm going to write down the symbols to show to Mercutio or Coretta later to see if
copyist can do that.
They can't. Oh no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because it's the other one. I need it. That one's based on agility as opposed to intelligence, and it's no, you're right. I was thinking because it's writing, I would be able to get it, but they are technically symbols, so I would need.
Yeah, they're unknown, so they're symbols to you.
Yeah.
Scrimshaw,
yeah, and that's an agility test. That's why I didn't get that one. Alright, so I can't do that. I have total recall, so I could.
Yeah, you can remember
Would it be possible for me to describe them?
Yeah, you could describe them fairly well.
Okay.
Or at least the general characteristics which you've noted.
Is it possible to do a sort of like mind meld type thing between tech priests if I were to plug into Coretta and show her what well actually I guess I don't have any mental
You'll find out.
Yeah, I don't have any mental implants, so it's in my organic brain, so I don't think she'd be able to access that.
You'll find out.
Alright. Well, I do take note of the symbols.
Yes. Okay.
So, well, seeing as that's about as far as I imagine I can get with that particular road at this point in time, if I've read through everything, I have total recall, so I know exactly what's on the computer, I know exactly what's on all the things, minus those letters. I'd like to take a look at the trinket that my Inquisitor sent.
Okay.
So
you pull out the small trinket that he sent you, and it appears to be a very ornate, oddly gilded small trinket. It is a mix of both gold and black metals of well, you don't initially recognize what kind of metals they are.
But
They're not
it is
common
metal.
metals. Yes, you can feel the weight of them, and it does. They appear to be metal to you.
okay. How heavy is the trinket? Like how large and how heavy?
The trinket's probably about the size of like my pocket watch. It's about
Okay, so it's pretty small.
a cubic inch or so. Very ornately gilded, and it's actually surprisingly heavy. It's about 2 kilograms.
Okay. In the letter, the Inquisitor said, did he say he found it in his travels, or?
Yes, he
Okay.
discovered it in his travels, and he did not have the time to look into it, so he thought someone with as keen an intellect as yours.
Okay. But he didn't mention anything about where he found it or how long ago he found it?
No,
or...
he left no mention of any of that.
Alright. So it's just like a spheroid, you said about a cubic inch spheroid, very ornate, black and gold.
It's jagged. It doesn't have a really definable shape. It's almost crystalline, and it's.
Yeah. Well, I meant spheroid as in like it's round as opposed to like being a cube, but it's.
It's closer to spherical than cubic, but yes, it's quite jagged and not actually spherical.
Mm-hmm. Does it look like any kind of puzzle or anything that can be opened, or from what I can tell at least?
Do you want to take an intelligence test?
Sure.
You kind of mess around with it for a little bit, poking and prodding, seeing if anything changes, and as you hold one of the small crystalline structures and you push in against another one, you feel the one towards your thumb start to warm up and depress very slightly. But as soon as you move your hand, it pops back out and loses its heat very rapidly.
So, we essentially just established that it's not static. It's not just a solid charm. It does something. Or rather, Tybalt figured that out.
Okay.
Okay. So. I'll have to look more into that after this session when I get Archaeotech. But I wanted to get that for this, but I figured it would be much more important if I'm going to go talk to some tech priests that I have some forbidden lore and some common lore. More importantly, the common lore.
So you know things about stuff?
So that if I'm like, sup bitches, you can be like, Zach, would you just take a common lore test for me? Yeah, you should not say that until we'll know that.
Yeah, you didn't say that, otherwise you're dead.
Yeah. I figured that would be a decent idea to have, so.
Alright. You spent like a few hours looking at the trinket, studying it, trying to find if you could repeat what happened.
Yeah, can I recreate the heat by pressing in the same areas?
As you try it, it doesn't happen in the same way. You're never able to get the heat to come back or any of the other crystalline structures to depress it all.
Okay, so I established that it can be done, but I was not able to repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright. That'll be a mystery for another day, but I wanted a better description of just a little trinket.
Yes.
So
after around maybe like 1 in the afternoon, you've gone down and gotten some food, and your Voxcaster goes off.
Oh, I assumed they would just introduce themselves. So.
Well, most of the
Or
time
is
they
it
just kind of like
ringing?
chirp, and then you just hit the button.
I can never tell. I always just assume like walkie-talkie-esque thing. Someone would be like Tybalt, but it is kind of like a phone. Fuckcasters are very.
It's like, well, I don't know if you've ever used them, but like Nextel things, where they it like beeps to let you know that someone's doing it.
So I have to accept it,
Mm-hmm.
but then it's just open channel.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like okay, so this is Tybalt.
Tybalt, it's Natalia. Can you meet me by the spaceport? Mercutio would like to get going soon.
Right, you need me right now?
With sometime within the next hour or so would be good. Thank you.
All right, I'm on my way.
She hangs up, and you finish your small meal of scones and books.
I'm eating books.
You're reading a book while eating scones.
Oh, got it.
And
Is there any way to take a picture or like photocopy something? If I can't, not to like
No.
take with me, just to have.
if you have a pict recorder, which no one does, you might be able to get one from Mechanicus or someone. But
All right, then I place. Or wait, how many of the pages have the scrawlings on them? Just the one, or
there's like 3 or 4
3 or 4?
within the packet of pages.
So I keep those hidden. I don't know how good
In
an
your
idea.
pocket.
Nobody else is gonna do anything with these, right? Like
Like,
nobody
oh, you mean in the group?
in the group. Nobody.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah. Okay.
I've
So
never even referenced them since I've done
they
it.
don't even. I'm pretty sure I can put them back on Neelis's person, and he's not ever going to make reference to the fact that he owns them.
Nope.
So I'm going to, but the ones with the scrawlings, because I have total recall, so
Yeah.
I remember I've read through everything. So the ones that have the scrawlings on them, I keep it. Do I have a nightstand? Do I have some place? Because I'm not going to put paper underneath my pillow and just be like, well, the help's not going to like pick that up. and see
There's
those.
like a dresser in your room if you want to just put it like where your armor and all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
goes
so,
when you're not using it.
So, oh, and not that this matters for now because we're still not dealing with weight, but I'm leaving behind my my las pistol, my staff, and my knife for this.
Okay.
So I'm only bringing my bolt pistol and my las carbine.
Okay.
But alongside those or underneath those, I place the ones that have the scrawlings, but the remaining pages that are blank, I'm going to put back on Nihilus's person before I
Before you leave.
leave.
All right.
You know, not that he'll notice or miss them, but
Nope. Not even gonna care.
still, Tybalt tries to be polite. He did take without asking.
Borrow.
Yeah.
So yes, you replace the pages on Neelis's person, and stash the ones that have the arcane writings underneath your various accoutrements in your room.
Excellent.
and make your way to Port Serena, or to the Noble Port.
Noble Port.
Yes. Or the Noble Docks, to make your way to Port Serena.
Get it right, Jim. God damn. I know the map is subject to change, but
Right there. Right there.
it would be so great if it updated in real time.
Yeah, I know.
To the Serena dot. To this Serena.
Scratches
the
itself
Noble,
out and
The Noble Port, Noble Docks, Serena Port Serena.
you know what? Fuck Zach. Good.
There's a bridge now.
I like this program. This is the best program ever.
It would be a great program because you'd never be wrong. You're just like, you're heading over to the market. Isn't that on a different planet? No, it's here now. It's about 45 minutes. You said it was 3 hours away. Well, it's not now.
Dropped it in from space.
The island's just...
Good. So yeah, you make your way over to the island of Serena.
Alright.
And is there anywhere that you want to go before heading to the spaceport?
The Holy Temple is still on lockdown, right?
Kind of.
I mean, I only had 1 hour, and I'm sure it took me like 20 minutes to get over to Serena Spaceport, so I'm not really looking to... I'm just trying to keep up to date with what's going on with the map, since...
Mm-hmm.
So, it's sort of on lockdown. Like, it's probably open to the general public, but only in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Ecclesiarchy Palace that's on lockdown because it fucking burned to the ground. Part of it did, at least.
Yeah.
So, the offices are probably on lockdown, but I assume the general public is allowed.
In the
Although
main halls
most people
and stuff.
probably don't go to Vero very often.
No.
So, not as important as the St. Vero Temple.
Holy Temple.
Yeah. Casino, I have no business there. I don't go to the bar. What's at the resort? The resort is just like a hotel, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, we haven't been there. Not that we
I don't
need to.
believe so, no.
That was not distracting at all.
Alright. Bright white.
Went from like a dark gray, snowy night to, look, it's a white background.
Yeah.
Is that Chell?
Yes.
Okay.
Portal.
I don't need to buy any. I can't afford any weapons. I'm holding on to every last piece of throne guilt I have to pay Canicus for that optical mechadendrite, if he should be able to acquire it. There's the miscellaneous shops, and the only thing I have to do there is couch guy. Good. No, it's canon now.
Yep.
Whatever. At least he works in a couch shop.
No other furniture, just the couches.
Well, I'm just saying, if I'm going to do couch guy, that's not why you were laughing? I thought you were laughing because I said the only thing I have to do there is couch guy.
I know. You gonna do them on the couches or what?
Yeah.
Alright.
He's couch guy.
Good.
He's gonna do it on the bed?
Maybe. Maybe he likes to experiment.
But then he wouldn't be couch guy.
He needs to still be couch guy.
He knows what he likes.
He's just bed curious.
So we're just gonna stop this and redo the whole thing, right?
Pretty much.
Okay. Willem Dafoe's balls.
Damn it, no, we have to stop. Anyways.
That's my favorite part, is without Danny, if we derail, we derail.
It stays derailed, damn it. Am I
Oh, good.
interrupting?
No, this is right where Brittany came in. Couch shop guy and Willem Dafoe's balls.
God, we're so good at this game.
Ugh, this all makes so much sense now.
Grim Darkness. Far future.
Yeah, I don't have anything to do.
Okay.
So I guess I'm just gonna go to the spaceport and meet Natalia.
Good. Very good. You make your way back over to the spaceport once again. Out front, sitting by one of the very few trees dotting the area, you notice Natalia leaning and looking a little bit perturbed. Not quite her usual plucky, awkward self.
I was gonna say, she usually looks kind of perturbed.
She looks more perturbed than normal.
She normally looks like a frightened puppy when in public.
Okay.
When following us, not so much.
When
But
following you,
like the last-
Velociraptor.
Like the
When
last.
sitting in beach,
Did you say Velocil?
she looks like my hard drive.
We're just gonna continue. We'll edit that out in post.
We'll get it in post. Michael Bay lens flares.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams explosions.
Can you do my makeup in post?
No,
Damn it.
just gonna add 10 pounds.
Do you really need to?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
So-
in your cheeks.
Either way, like the 3 times I've met Natalia, she's been like, public places make me feel awkward. I'm like, you're a master assassin. Get over yourself. It's gonna be like when Tybalt's like 45 years old, has fucking carapace armor and a heavy bolter, and I'm like, I still don't know how to talk to people.
God damn it, you're a Mac. You've talked to the High Lords of Terra every week.
You rule over Mars. I'm like, I know, but people are scary.
I don't like them.
I just want my books.
They usually leave me alone.
I show up with my big guns, and they're like, we don't need you this week.
It's the best job I've ever had.
It's the only job I've ever. No, I guess I fixed ships as a boy.
Yep. Anyway.
Spent a lot of time in the captain's quarters. Never pressed that. Makes me
fill
think
your
of
ass
Couch
with-
Man.
Did you fill your ass with broken glass and circumcise the skipper?
If I say yes, will we end this conversation?
Probably.
Yes.
So you see Natalia leaning up against a tree, looking a bit more nervous, but not in the normal awkward kind of nervous. More like an actual feeling of dread kind of nervous.
Got it.
Yes, so you see her.
So it's not a opposite.
Yeah, she doesn't even seem like she's very aware of her
people.
surroundings.
Yeah.
She's more just focused on what's going on in her own mind.
If this were a cartoon, she'd just be pale and her eyes would be like
Yes.
tiny. Got it. Okay. She'd have like the blue background with the lines.
Yep.
Oh God.
God
Let's
damn
the
it.
stove on. Alright, so I guess I'm going to approach her.
Good. I like the question in that.
I don't know.
Approach her?
I guess I'm gonna. Do I have to take an agility test to sneak? By a master assassin.
Good luck. But yes, that would be an agility test.
Alright.
And
So-
it's silent move or silent step, which you don't have.
Yeah, so it's half of my half.
It's not, you can't do it, it's an advanced skill.
Oh.
You can only take basic skills that you haven't learned yet.
Yeah, and take half of that. Yeah, I know. So, either way, I'm not gonna sneak, but I'm going to approach her without saying anything and sit down next to her. I figure as a master assassin, no matter how distracted she is, she will notice as the lanky fuck in bright red cloaks walks up and sits down next to her,
Poot.
and I put my imaginary mechanical arm around her.
We did this before. You and I.
She doesn't know whether she's more uncomfortable from me imagining it or because she can feel it.
Or because she's imagining it too. As you sit down next to her, she immediately stands up and looks over at you. Shall we go?
Sure. Where are we headed?
To the ship that will take us up to the main barge.
Oh, we're going off planet?
Well, you don't expect those ships to land down here.
No, but I don't know. I wasn't really. I thought it'd be easier to move one person down. I mean, move me up. I guess it's really not important. No, this didn't really tell me anything. Okay.
Yes, well, follow me. And she begins leading you through corridors towards the back of the spaceport. Towards a place you haven't ever been to. It's where the more regal kind of ships, where nobles would come. You can see a lot of vacationing vessels docked there.
People who didn't come in on shitty barges.
Pretty much. And yeah, she leads you to a very small craft, much smaller than the other ones around. And
being as
motions
this is
towards you to get
Warhammer
in.
40k, define small for me. Are we talking like an actual like 5-person craft?
It's maybe like 40 meters by 10 meters.
No, that's still pretty. I was like, that's just abnormally long, but that's still pretty wide. So, all right. So it could fit a small crew. It's
Yeah, you could probably fit like 20 or 30.
yeah.
In that.
It's essentially like the Millennium Falcon-esque size. I mean,
Yeah.
not quite dimensions, but size-wise, because it's not like a Corellian cruiser.
Cubic
so-
size.
Yeah.
Similar to it.
Same volume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just making sure. Because when you said small, I wasn't sure if it was like,
Well, it's
we're
small
gonna get
in
in the fucking fighter jet and fly into orbit.
it's small in comparison to
In
the
comparison to
luxury
everything
things
else
around it. In
Yeah.
comparison to smaller vessels, it's a little larger than most kind of civilian skipper kind of crafts.
Like I said, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was going to have like walking room on the ship, or if I'm going to sit down in a chair and the two of us are going to spend a very awkward, like 20 minutes leaving the atmosphere.
No, she sits down in the pilot's seat, and
Am
you
I
have
expected to follow her all the way to the cockpit?
no. You could sit down
Not
anywhere.
like I have anywhere else to be in the ship. But
She simply motions for you to enter the ship. She doesn't specify where you have to sit or anything.
all right. Well, do I notice anyone else on the ship, or is it just her and I at the moment?
As far as you can tell, it's just her and you.
Okay, I'm just gonna follow her to the cockpit then.
Not that you're like looking in every room or anything.
No,
you're just kind
but
of
just
walking
as I walk
along.
by, I'm
Yeah.
not noticing any movement or anything.
No, you don't hear any noises, and you don't notice any movement or anything.
Right. So yeah, I'm just following her to the cockpit. Better than just like seeing a couch halfway to the cockpit and being like, I'm just gonna sit here, wake me when you need me.
Good. So yes, you both make your way up to the cockpit. She takes her seat at the pilot's chair, and you sit down, not in the navigator's seat, but in another seat in the cockpit. Or not in the co-pilot seat, maybe a navigator seat or something like that.
Okay.
Just in front of a computer, but
I can
kind of
navigate.
behind her. And you, she goes through all the proper procedures and takes off, and you guys begin hovering and moving upward towards the sky.
By the way, the spaceport, is this all outdoors or?
No, it was initially docked inside the spaceport, and you had to leave. You leave through
Did
a
we
hangar.
taxi out?
Yeah,
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like that or if it had a ceiling that kind of did that.
it does, but for your small of a vehicle, you just kind of slide out through a hangar door,
Okay.
and then kind of VTOL up a little bit, and then
Sorry, seeing as we've kind of landed on world and haven't been
Yeah.
venturing on and off, I'm trying to figure out what spaceports look like, at least on Reef. So, anyways,
So anyways, you guys begin your ascent to one of the 3 main cruisers of the the Mechanicus above you.
okay.
As you begin your ascent, you hear the door open to the cockpit, and Mercutio enters with no fanfare.
Damn it.
He simply walks in. He's not even wearing his normal chameleon cloak.
I pull out my bolt pistol and fire at him.
He stabs
What?
you through the chest with a scythe. You die.
Yay! I don't have to do this anymore! People scare me. Tell my companions to give all of my gear to my older brother Romeo. Romeo Metalis. Also a tech priest. Similar levels of experience. He already has his mechadendrites though. Anyways, so Tybalt fakes an awkward, well not necessarily fakes as much as just kind of forces an awkward smile and waves at Mercutio.
Mercutio doesn't...
Not exactly having the best of experiences with him around, so kind of hesitant to say anything or piss him off.
Mm-hmm. Mercutio disregards your awkward little smile, gesture
What about my wave?
and wave.
Oh.
And walks and stands behind Natalia and puts his hand on her shoulder and then points towards one of the 3 barges. Make a perception check.
What's it based on?
Perception?
Well, I meant, like, is it just a flat perception check, or is it based on sight?
That's sight.
Okay, so I get a +10.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, your keyboard is way over there.
Yeah. I could actually move it closer. We don't need the book here. I'm not using the book for anything. As long as you're not going to read it. But we're busy.
I've moved it to the very back.
I'm going to put it back where it goes.
Oh.
And make you lay down like a bitch.
Yep.
Also, Verrett's here. Hi, Verrett.
Oh, hi there.
So you passed that? Yes.
Yeah, I passed that. 2 degrees of success. Only perception check I'll ever pass.
Yep. So yes, as you, as this happens, you, kind of make out the markings on the ships, and you realize the ship he's pointing at is a Omnissiah class, battle cruiser that a very high-level tech priest would be manning. Either an Omni Prophet or a Magos Errant would be on that kind of cruiser. It kind of shudders a little bit of fear into you as to what kind of meeting this is going to be, and how Mercutio was able to convince someone of such importance to bring this much firepower to a little
By the way,
planet
how
on
many
the outskirts of the
people? It's
Calixus.
3 battle cruisers at least.
Mm-hmm.
But is it just that, or is there a smaller fleet alongside it?
There are smaller ships, tugs, and small, not necessarily fighters, but
Like
shuttles.
smaller defense ships
Yeah.
for the fleet.
Fleet also flying around them.
Okay, but it's just those 3 main battle cruisers. No ships of like necessarily equal or even half the size.
No, all the ships are considerably smaller. There are some drop ships which you can see shuttling people between them that are large, but nowhere near the size of the actual flotilla.
Yeah. Well, we're talking, like fucking Imperial cruisers. Everything has to be related back to Star Wars because there are so many goddamn ships and I'm fucking familiar with them. So until I learn Warhammer 40k stuff, that's gonna be my benchmark.
Yes, the Omnissiah class cruiser is about 6,000 meters long and maybe 200 or 300 wide.
I'm assuming fairly tall as well, right?
Yes, also
quite
tall.
All of the Warhammer 40k ships look like they were about as tall as they are wide. They look like flying boxes.
Basically. The other cruisers are significantly smaller. Well, not significantly. Maybe like 1,000 meters smaller. Similar width, though.
So the one we're going to is the 6,000 one.
Yes.
The other 2 are about 1,000 shorter?
About 5,000, 4,000-ish.
Okay.
But yeah, you notice that. You also notice that when Mercutio put his hand on Natalia's shoulder that she relaxed slightly and didn't initially pull away from it. Not that that's much of anything, but it was something that you noted.
Alright.
Because you passed with 2 degrees of success. So I gave you 2 things to take note of.
Yay! What if I'd gotten 3?
Then I'd have to think of something else.
Okay.
Mercutio mumbles something to Natalia, and she begins the docking procedure on the very large cruiser that you're heading towards. Within a few moments, you're within the grav port and disembarking from the ship.
Right. I'm assuming Natalia's following or walking alongside Mercutio.
Yes, Natalia is about 2 paces behind Mercutio, and you're kind of next to her.
Oh, I'm next to her. I was going to say that. Alright. I try and maintain sort of side by side, but also try and distance myself from Mercutio and partially behind her. So.
Okay. So you're going to walk a little bit behind her, too.
I keep in stride with her, but I remain ever so slightly behind.
Okay.
Not that that would stop him if he decided to turn around and murder me.
Not that that's going to matter much if he wants to. Kill me. Yeah. But yes, Mercutio, the shuttle doors open and Mercutio strides out very confidently. Natalia, a little more hesitant, but again, showing confidence, follows her master, and you follow step with her. As you walk down the small gantry onto the ship, you're greeted by a few tech priests, some with weapons, obvious security force, and then a female tech priest, which greets you at the bottom of the ramp. And, well, she greets Mercutio, since he was the first and most confident. Ah, Lord Mercutio, Lady Coretta is waiting for you in the main battle quarters. Are these...
You said this is a tech priest?
Yes.
She referred to her as Lady Coretta?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll find out why.
Okay.
Alright.
Does Tybalt think this odd, or...?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you wish to, you may think this odd.
Well, I meant, like, common lore.
Yes, your common lore makes you wonder what's going on.
Dictates that I think it odd that a tech priest would refer to a higher ranking tech priest as Lady anything.
Yes.
And not refer to their rank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She does this a bit away of the other tech priests, so they might not have heard it, but you being so close to both of them, you overhear this, and you find it a bit puzzling.
Mm-hmm.
But go along with it, not to raise any suspicion or anything. Mercutio smiles and asks her to lead the way, and you are all off together. As you come across security doors, he kind of waves you guys through to like insist that you're with him, and you make your way through the very large but still very compact feeling ship. There's no space.
There's never any open. It's always confined hallways.
Yes, it's very confined hallways. There's maybe only ever a half a meter above your head of free space, and the corridors themselves are actually
just because I'm tall, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The corridors themselves are much wider than they are tall, to allow for multiple people to fit through them. A lot of the tech priests you go by were specifically outfitted for space flight, and thus have a large amount of utility.
So they have like EVA suits and stuff?
No, they just have like utility mechadendrites and stuff, and manipulators that can just grab on. They pull themselves through the hallways instead of walking. They'll either like grab the roof or grab the side, because they're generally more used for zero-G environments, and
is there artificial gravity
in this area? There is, but you could tell that because of the way that they move about, that they're not used to always being in artificial gravity.
Oh, I see. So they're not like floating and move; they are dragging themselves.
They're dragging themselves.
Oh, so they are used to being in zero-G. That's what I was trying to figure out. 'Cause you said they're moving like that, and I was like, that would be highly inefficient. But they're basically just not using their legs.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're very used to movement in zero-G, and so they just kind of do that as a natural reflex. Especially there's also a very, very large amount of servitors and stuff going about and doing moderate repairs or just taking in data to give to their overseers.
And just standard servitors, right? Not any like former tech priests.
Well, some of them might
really
be
able to tell, but
yeah.
I meant like
most of them are just servitors to you.
Okay.
They're just the lower class.
Fair enough.
Humanized robots.
Are they roboticized humans?
Yeah. So. After maybe.
I suppose a tech priest would view it the other way around, since being robotic is held pretty highly. So.
After almost an hour of travel on foot, you finally reach.
Fuck! It took us like 5 minutes to get up in space. It's a very large ship.
It is. It really is.
The ship is too big. If I walk, the movie will be over. That was Spaceballs for all of you people watching. Barrett and Elisa.
But yeah, after a while, it's a movie.
Read a book.
You finally come to the external doors of the main kind of situation room, as it were, conference room. Mercutio turns to both of you and says, "Don't say anything unless spoken to, and I will take care of everything." Tybalt, did Neelis mention anything to you before you came, or?
He told me I'm to act as liaison between you and whoever is here, and that you would call me at some point in time today. I was not told I would be in space. I don't know who I'm meeting. I don't know anything that's going on. Please don't kill me.
And he turns away and enters the room, pushing open the very large metal doors himself. As he enters, he is heralded in as Moritat Reaper Mercutio. And then you are also heralded along with Natalia. She is not referred to as any rank, simply by her name. And you...
Full name or just Natalia?
Just Natalia.
Okay. Corvus, right?
Yes, Corvus.
I'm just trying to remember because I feel like I'm mixing up names at times.
Yes. If you want, I'll specifically. He now entering Moritat Reaper Mercutio and his accomplice Natalia. And Acolyte Tech Priest Tybalt Metalis.
Acolyte Tech Priest?
They know that you're an acolyte of the Inquisition.
Got it. Okay. Well, I just wasn't sure because my rank is just Tech Priest,
Yes.
so I was trying to figure out what that... Okay.
You all three take a seat around this great, very large circular table that has a small would be relief is down, right? So it would be whatever the opposite is. Popped up. Anyways, it's got a relief of a cog just on the inside of it. The symbol of the tech priesthood.
I just feel I should make note of this just so you're aware. Seeing as my eyebrows have in fact grown back and I do have some hair, so I'm no longer bald and I'm no longer eyebrowless, on top of the fact that I felt this would be an important meeting, my bowler cap is back in my room and I am just wearing my robes and my hood. So
You look like a tech priest.
I look like a tech priest. I didn't want to come up
Throw
wearing a
anyone
fucking
off.
bowler cap and be like, I'm
Sup,
definitely a tech
bitches?
priest, guys. Didn't just steal the robes.
But yes,
So, lest Coretta fucking slit my throat for that.
you all take your seat. Mercutio sits, and Natalia sits on his left, and you sit on his right.
I'm not comfortable with this, but okay.
In the
No,
middle
that's
of the
a sight
grand
band.
table, there is a single chair, or rather throne, it looks like, where another female tech priest wearing very large power armor is seated. You can see that she has
Did you say the center of the room or next to me?
in the center of the table.
Fucking A, dude. How big is that chair? She's wearing power armor.
Huge.
She's sitting on a throne, right?
Yeah.
She's got one of those plastic chairs from elementary school.
Yep. But yes, she's a dark-haired female, though she also has a lot of wire coming out from her scalp.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see anything through the power armor, obviously.
Oh,
But
is it full armor including the helmet?
there isn't a helmet. You can see her hair, the wires,
Okay,
and
so
her
she's just
respirator
wearing
over
the
her
suit,
face.
So she's got a respirator. Does she have any goggles or ocular implants?
Not that you can tell.
Not
It's
from
very
a
possible
distance?
that she has ocular implants, but
Oh, okay.
from the distance you're at,
well, I
you
meant
can't
like,
see
so she
anything.
might have like a mechanical eye, but
Yeah, she doesn't have
it
anything
would be
over
like
it.
a synthetic one. It's not
Yeah.
like the ones that I normally see with like the casings and the red lenses. And,
No, if anything, it's a very high quality synthetic eye.
Okay.
She is sitting in the middle of the
Eye
room.
or eyes?
Oh, you can't tell.
Okay. Well, that's why
That's
I just
irrelevant.
there's nothing covering either of them.
No.
It's just a respirator.
All you can see is a respirator,
Respirator
and a lot
and
of
some
hoses.
tubes coming from her cortex.
Yeah. Around the table, you note that there are a few other tech priests. Some of them looking quite a bit more regal than others. Oh, her power armor is gilded red and gold.
Gilded red and gold. Is she wearing...
It's very ornate.
Can I see a hood, like either draped back down on this, or...
Yes, she has the flowing robes of the tech priesthood. You can see underneath her power armor, and she is wearing a cloak like the tech priest's robes, draped over some of the power armor.
Okay. And does she have like short, like buzzed hair to accommodate for the tubes, or does she have like long
No, she
hair?
has very long hair that's bundled up into a kind of frizzy ponytail on one side, and then the rest of it, where the wires are, is just loose.
Okay, so on one side it's bundled up, and with the wires it's just free flowing. Okay.
Around the table, you take note of a few other people, but none of them. I mean, if you want, I can describe them for you, but none of their descriptions.
You said around the table.
Yes.
So we're all seated around a table, right?
Yes.
All of us,
Except for Coretta.
Coretta, who's in the center of the table.
Yes.
How many people are seated around the table? Because it's me, Natalia, Mercutio, and in the center of the table is her. That's 3 people.
Yes.
How large is the table?
The table is gigantic. It's maybe like 30 meters diameter.
Okay. So fucking huge. It would make sense for there to only be 3 people there. So.
Yeah. There's one other person of obviously great importance as Mercutio sitting nearby you guys, with a few of his assistants sitting next to him. Around the rest of the table are other important-looking figures, but none besides you, Mercutio's party, and that other tech priest's party seem to be having preferential seating in front of Coretta. All the other ones seem more or less like they're just kind of mixed in to fill the room.
So the other important person is also a tech priest?
Yes.
Is everyone in the room, other than Mercutio and Natalia, a tech priest?
As far as you can tell, everyone else in the room is a tech priest.
Okay, so there are no outside party. There's
No.
okay. So I'm probably the only, well, that's not necessarily true. I can't say I'm the only person with the Inquisition, but it's entirely possible I'm the only person.
Yes, it's possible that you're the only inquisitorial acolyte or anyone related to the Inquisition in the room.
Okay.
Okay, so you make note of all of that. As you sit down, the lights around you all dim, except for on the table becomes illuminated. Vast electrical vast lightly glowing lights light up all around the table, and a small kind of hologramic projection kind of comes up, showing where you guys are in relation to the rest of the Calixis sector. So there's like a map illuminating above you guys as well, obviously lit up by the table.
Yeah.
And that is the only thing casting any light into the room anymore.
Is the holographic map.
The holographic map and the lights, yes.
So I can probably no longer see 30 meters in front of me to the other side of the table. Can I still see Coretta?
Yes, you can obviously see.
Recognize this Coretta?
Yes, you can obviously see the
head.
the female tech priest in the middle of the table as she is sitting in all of the lights.
Okay.
You can barely make out the other side of the table.
Okay.
You can't make out the features of the people anymore, but you can make out that they are there. Too much clothing.
He's just talking a lot, so...
Yeah.
We can continue. I just wanted to see what Vera was saying.
I'm just letting you read. I'm taking our time. Having some fun.
I wanted to know if I was getting instructions or if he was just saying, there's not enough fighting. Blow a hole in the ship.
Yes.
But that would... Actually, I probably couldn't. In the amount of time it would take, because it takes me a half action to ready my pistol, and I'm sitting next to Mercutio. I don't have to draw.
Anyways. As the lights dim and the hologram comes on, the female tech priest in the center of the room. Yes, good. It worked.
Text. Good.
It
worked very well.
Yes. The tech priest in the middle of the room stands up, and as she does so, everyone else in the room stands up, and you, following
Yeah.
tradition, also stand up as well.
following tradition or just social cues?
No, well, it's part of the Mechanicus. It's
Okay.
not a necessary social cue of the Imperium to do so.
Okay.
Because in the Mechanicus, though she is a female, everyone is regarded in the male term. So unlike in polite society where you would stand up when a lady is standing up, in the Mechanicus that doesn't matter. A female stands up to leave the table, no one else stands up. But following the cues of the cult Mechanicus, when a lord or higher entity gets up, you
So
also
it's
get
more
up.
like military.
Yeah. So yes, you all stand up, and she walks towards the other tech priest of high rank at the table, and turns to him and asks, "Oh God, what's his name again? I need to scroll this down a little bit." Demetrius, Omniprophet. Why did you call this a meeting here? And he gets up. Or he's still standing.
Omniprophet's just one step below
Yes.
Magus, right? Not Magus Errant, but Flat Magus.
I believe it's a Magus Errant
Is it?
derivative.
I mean, it's not
We'll check
necessarily...
that real quick.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure it's whoever is supposed to be right below that. Yeah, right under the Magus Errant. The Cyber Seer is below the
Cyber Seer is right
Magus.
before the Magus. Okay.
Right.
Alright, so he would be her direct...
Inferior.
Okay, sorry. I was like...
Subordinate?
Inferior. Yeah, subordinate. Sounds a lot better than inferior. Her direct inferior.
You suck! Yes, then Demetrius turns and gestures towards Mercutio. You've mobilized half of the force of the Lathes to come to this pitiful small planet on the outskirts of our system, or in the outskirts of our sector, at the behest of this assassin. I simply wish to know why we are here and what our goal is. Errant. And he takes his seat.
Wait, he said that to...
He said that to Coretta.
Oh, she mobilized it?
No, yeah, she mobilized the fleet, and he asked for this meeting to figure out what's going on.
Got it, okay. I thought she was still pitching at him, and I was like... Okay. Alright, there we go. Continue.
She mobilized the fleet at the behest of Mercutio.
They both sound a lot like Richard.
They do. It's weird, right? She turns to Mercutio and says, Reaper Barbosa, would you care to enlighten us? And Mercutio takes his stand. Not really. He just kind of grumbles very loudly and
I'm
authoritatively.
assuming you just don't have the music queued up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I can just imagine it being there.
But yes, he turns, or he thanks Coretta and then turns to Demetrius.
Go Mercutio!
And, kind of snidely tells him that in his journeys as a Reaper, he is privy to all sorts of knowledge, and he took a job on Reth to assassinate the governor Jedediah the Call for a warring noble, but as he plotted his assassination, he met with your group of Inquisitors and found that the entire planet and possibly the sector at hand could be destroyed by demonic incursion, and it immediately hushes the room. Coretta turns to you and asks, is this true?
from what our investigation has found thus far, there are rampant cases of psyker phenomena occurring at one of the asylums, but we have very little evidence to back this up outside of 2 encounters with daemons and at least 1 corrupted psyker.
The Demetrius looks over and says, "That's hardly enough reason, or that's hardly any reason to mobilize such an immense force from the Forge Worlds." Mercutio turns to him and immediately snaps back that the Forge Worlds would be lost as well if a full-blown incursion arrived in the Calixus sector. The Storm Wardens would not be able to handle it.
What is proper procedure for? Am I going to raise my hand to get a point? Because Tybalt's not just going to speak out of turn. Not at this table.
Generally, you would wait for a superior to
so I cannot
asks you, or you can always, nudge Mercutio and he'll address you.
Okay, then I would like to nudge Mercutio.
After he is done biting back Demetrius, he again gestures to you to take the floor.
Just this morning, I looked over reports taken directly from the office of Bernadum, the head of the asylum, or the Ecclesiarchy Palace, rather, but he manages the asylum. I digress. The documentation does not match up with the official reports that he has been submitting to Governor DeCall. The budget for the asylum is off by factors, tens of factors. The amount of money they're throwing into this place for supposed renovations to a hexagrammic ward or to food is enough to feed, clothe, and arm a small militia.
Demetrius.
And it's all off the books.
Yeah. Demetrius turns to you. Did you bring any of this documentation with you?
I left all of it at the Canicus estate. I merely have all of the information and statistics
interrupts
memorized.
you. How good is your memory, boy?
Anything within the last 2 weeks? So, I'd say it's pretty keen, if not to be boastful.
Would you mind coming up here?
Of course.
You step on your seat and then get on top of the table and make your way over to the tech priestess, I guess. The Magus.
Whichever.
She gestures to some of the other tech priests in the room, and they bring out a magleved kind of gurney, and she has it brought in front of her, and she says, "Please lay down."
Tybalt does as he's told.
And she rolls you onto your stomach. I hope you don't mind, but for such claims like this, I'm afraid we will need to see the evidence for ourselves.
By all means, Magos, errant. Oh wait, I don't know her rank, do I?
No, you haven't learned it yet.
I'm in a room full of tech priests, I can't say exalted one. If I don't know her rank, and I don't know, how do I comply very respectively?
You could just be like, by all means, my lord, or something along those lines.
Then, by all means, my lord.
She kind of gently pats you on the back, and then you hear the whir of saw blades and the clinking of sharp instruments. Yeah, ERP time.
Couch guy springs into action.
Can you test your toughness?
My toughness? I should. Tybalt's still selected, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the only one that we need, so he's the only one selected.
Oh, that one sucks.
This is gonna be good.
This is gonna be great.
Apparently, Lisa's typing to us.
She was typing to us a little bit earlier. It just keeps either that or your
just
Skype
keeps
hates me.
popping
It
up.
just keeps popping up. So.
Okay, never mind. So, anyways, as you lie down, you feel a small pinch of a knife in the back of your neck.
Small.
Mm-hmm.
Failed by 2 degrees. Small.
We're getting there.
I know we're getting there. I'm just excited.
And then you feel the vibrations of a saw to the back of your cranium. What?
Oh, I don't know.
You feel the vibrations of a saw rushing against the back of your cranium. You realize that there is a local anesthetic that must be in your system, as you are not feeling any real pain from this. As you hear a very loud crack and snap of the base of your skull being removed, you're
gonna put that back, right? I like that where it is.
You feel this odd, wet kind of pressure against the back of your spine, and all of a sudden, lightning juts through your entire body. You begin spasming, and Coretta holds you down as your body flails on the gurney. Everything for you goes dark, and not to your knowledge, but the hologram above you is immediately lit up with your memories. It shows both assaults on the hexagrammic ward. It jumps through discussions that you've had with Neelis and the rest of the group. It cuts through you looking at the writings and going over the computer. After a few moments, the hologram of your mind disappears and the lights of the spatial hologram turn back on. You awaken very slowly as all this is happening. And as the hologram turns back on, she removes the Elect-2 conductor from your cerebral cortex. And again your world goes black. Pitch black, as though you were unplugged.
Good.
You wake up about 15 minutes later in your chair again, drooling slightly. Mercutio is now up on the table on the gurney that you were just on. Coretta now cutting into the base of his neck. You notice, though, that unlike you, there are odd sigils sitting around the area where this is taking place now, and that he is wearing a very awkward kind of helmet over the front of his head. And looking on it, you can see some of the markings, the arcane markings that you saw from
on the pages.
The pages that you got from Bernadum's papers. As the Elect-2 inductor is shoved into his cerebral cortex, you see the Ecclesiarchy Palace before it was burned, and you see the body of Bernadum being laid in front of it. And then, in abject horror, you see very faintly the sign of the Inquisition, and all of a sudden you're running in to the Ecclesiarchy Palace through the main hallways. As you make your way to the offices, you head directly towards Bernadum's office. You break down the door.
Not me, this is what the hologram is showing.
This is what the hologram is
Okay,
showing.
sorry, but you keep saying you, and I was like, what, are we connected
You're looking
now?
up through that perspective.
Yeah.
You break down the door, and on the other side of it, going through or attempting to get through a small trap door, you see the armor of the Inquisition and a logo, or the sigil of the Inquisition, on his shoulder, before seeing a Melta gun pop out of that trap door and fire at you multiple times. You dodge and fire back a few arrows, and then in horror you see a very larger than normal sized crack grenade come out through the trapdoor. You jump out and barely make it into the cover of the room next door before it goes off. After this, you depart, leaving the Ecclesiarchy Palace and making your way immediately towards the spaceport. You make your way to the Levine Estate and then to the spaceport, and then from there the vision kind of cuts out. Mercutio gets up almost immediately after the
Do I see anything
removed
of
from his
note
cortex.
when he stops at the Levine Estate?
Just him writing on a paper. It's all kind of fast forwarded.
Yeah, well, I figured, but I meant it takes 45 minutes to get to the Levine Estate, and I figure...
It just kind of jumps.
Yeah.
And then it shows him like writing, because this is an important memory to him.
Yeah.
And then it jumps immediately to him on a shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
And then they pull the cortex, or they pull the Elect-2 out of the cortex. Yeah, Twitch has been really laggy lately. Thankfully, it should all record just fine, but yeah, it'll buffer every once in a while. After it's removed, Mercutio gets to his feet and takes off the small helmet and goes back to sit with you guys. Sit between you and Natalia.
So, would I have any clue as to what the purpose of that helmet was?
No.
Alright. Because it has nothing to do with an interface with his brain, so he was just wearing a helmet and I just took note of the fact that it had similar markings.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to ask him after this whether or not they saw those markings, because I don't know what Tybalt has no idea what they saw.
As Mercutio gets to his seat, as Mercutio gets back to his seat, he turns to Demetrius and asks him, "Is there any more evidence you need?" And Demetrius immediately recoils with, "No, Sir Reaper. I understand now." And he gets up and turns to Coretta and says, "My fleet is at your command, Magos Errant," and bows his way out of the room. A few of the other tech priests around the table are still talking, and the Magos is obviously in deep thought about all that they have seen. She points towards one of the tech priests. "Cade, what do you think need to be done?" And he replies to her, "I believe that we need to wait until the Storm Wardens can come and help us purge the threat from this world. I believe we need to exterminate the entire populace, lest this grows anymore." And as Demetrius is walking out, he kind of eyes in agreement. Not very loudly, but you can tell it.
Mm-hmm.
He backs that idea as well. She turns to Mercutio and asks, "What do you think needs to be done?" And he imparts that they should send a surgical team to remove the threat directly, that he and a few others might be able to breach the chapel and bring an end to this swiftly, though he doesn't know how much time would be needed for that to happen, and also can't guarantee success. That it would likely cost a large amount of her tech priests to stage an assault in order to do this, but that is a better goal than to just exterminate the entire planet. And she turns to you and asks, "And you, Acolyte, what do you believe should be done?"
I am in agreement with Sir Reaper Mercutio. I believe it best to take out, or I believe it best that we have as few casualties as possible. We need to stop this problem at the source.
And, tell me of your Inquisitor. What of the Ordo, which Ordo is he from?
Antonius Caruso, right?